Hello, I'm SCJ, and yes, I am going to talk about the complete dumpster fire that is Red Bull in a minute. I'm not surprised in the slightest that what happened during the past week happened. I'm not going to try to hide it. I'm just going to talk about it when I get the chance. But for now, we have a lot of stuff to talk about in the NBA. A lot of star players have been getting hurt, and one of those players is LaMelo Ball. This comes from CBS Sports, who says that LaMelo Ball will have to undergo surgery on both his right ankle and right wrist, which will basically take him out for the full season. Now, unfortunately, injuries are not new for LaMelo Ball. I can't even count how many injuries he's had since the beginning of his NBA career. The Hornets themselves are already very concerned about his injuries. He's only had one season where he played 60 or more games. His durability is going completely down the drain. I wouldn't be surprised if I see Charlotte try to replace him with a different star. I wouldn't be shocked if LaMelo even found a new team, but then gets hurt after some time because injuries seem to be just defining his career. But LaMelo isn't the only star player to have to undergo surgery. Joel Embiid for the Philadelphia 76ers will also have to undergo surgery for his leg. You probably know last year he had a torn meniscus, had to get surgery for that, and then had to miss part of the beginning of the season due to that same right leg. Or I want to say, was it his right? I don't know, but something with one of his legs. I was hoping he was at least trying to keep it healthy, but now he's gonna have to deal with that same process all over again. But you know what they say in Philly, trust the process, am I right? As for when he'll be back, don't expect it to be soon. He's out for the rest of the season. And this is all being compounded by some pretty low stats throughout this season. As you can see, 23.8 points on average per game is his fourth lowest season total. And then the 8.2 rebounds are the second lowest average he's had in his career. See Joel Embiid back, at least hopefully early in the next season, I don't know. Heck, I wouldn't even be surprised if he tries to look for another team as well, because he's been sticking out in Philly for how many years now, and he still hasn't gotten close to getting a championship. I hope a championship is on his mind. I think Joel is a talented athlete, and I think he deserves to have a chance to go for it. But this next injury update here is quite bizarre. Damian Lillard on the Bucks, out with a blood clot, which will most likely leave him out for the rest of the season. Probably known better in the medical field as a deep vein thrombosis in his right calf. He's going to be out indefinitely. He's already been put on blood-thinning medication, and the Bucks are playing it cautious with him. They are not going to let him play until this issue is dealt with. And he isn't even the only player this season to be diagnosed with a blood clot. Victor Wembanyama has also had a blood clot for the Spurs. He was ruled out of the season in late February. Just unfortunate. A lot of star players, a lot of star prospects, they are getting more injured and getting more blood clots than ever, which is very weird. I know I'm not hardcore on basketball. I haven't been watching it much, but I've never seen an injury trend like this. Will this all play back on some debate regarding load management? I don't know. But we also have to worry about the title race for the Bucks, because they are currently 2 games behind the Pacers for that number 4 seed. And then the Pistons are breathing down the Bucks next for the number 5 seed. And of course, it doesn't matter who gets the number 4 seed and the number 5 seed, technically. Whichever one you place at, with that other team that is right next to you is going to get that other seed and play against you no matter what. But being placed down in number 6 will mean you'll have to play against the number 3 seed in the playoffs, and that could make your playoff run a lot more harder if you're placed in a lower seed and have to go up against a harder team. So the Bucks have a lot of things they have to sort out. But now, Don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. Yuki Tsunoda replacing Liam Lawson after just 2 races at Red Bull. Yuki Tsunoda will make his Red Bull debut at his home race, the Japanese Grand Prix, after Liam Lawson has done absolutely terrible to start the season off. Before we get into what F1 has to say about this, I would like to say Red Bull is a complete mess. I don't know how the hell Helmut Marko and other people on Red Bull still have their jobs, considering they don't know how to make a driver last in the second seat next to Max Verstappen. This has started probably as soon as 2014. Jean-Eric Vergne, I don't know if you remember him, French driver for Toro Rosso. He was doing great, but then Red Bull decided to go with Daniel Kvyat for some reason. And that probably pissed off Jean-Eric Vergne to the point where he just screwed off to Formula E. And then in 2015, Daniel has an okay year, but then 2016 happened. We had China, and then we had the torpedo incident in Russia, and then he's demoted back to Toro Rosso. Max Verstappen gets that seat next to Daniel Ricciardo. Max Verstappen gets his first win in his first race at Red Bull, and I don't think I have to bring up the rest of the story because we all know what happened from there. And after Daniel Ricciardo leaves, though, no one has been able to fill that void. Sergio Perez was the longest. However, we know how 2023 and 2024 went down. Pierre Gasly in 2019 doesn't even last the full season. He's replaced halfway through with Alex Albon, who was pretty decent considering how quickly he was called up. But then 2020 happens and he's falling off the pace. 2021, they bring in Sergio Perez. He has a good couple of seasons, and then 2023 happens. After a good few races and even a couple of wins in Saudi Arabia and Azerbaijan, he just falls off the cliff. Almost lost second in the World Driver standings. 2024, once again, has a couple of good races to start things off, and then everything just breaks down like a freaking sandcastle, I guess, from there. Did not go out on a good note at all in Abu Dhabi. He did not finish the race, and then he's now replaced by Liam Lawson, who doesn't even last more than 2 races. So, Red Bull, if they want to actually have a successful driver program for up-and-coming prospects, they need to freaking fix what's going on with their sister team, VCARB. There has been no prospects from there that has been able to last for a while. They probably need to fire Helmut Marko. If he can't develop talent there to make them last at Red Bull, then why is he even there? I think they should just sell the team to someone else. VCARB is becoming absolutely hopeless at this point. Ishak Hajar, I know that's the new driver in the mix at the team. I hope he does good, but no matter what happens, I don't think he would ever last in a Red Bull seat because Red Bull doesn't seem to really care about that second seat. They just seem to only cater to Max Verstappen, and that's it. However, after the Chinese Grand Prix, we had a lot of post-race drama. We had 3 drivers, including both Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc Ferrari, disqualified. So let's start off with Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly. Charles finishes 5th, Gasly in 11th. They go to the inspection bridge to weigh their cars, and apparently their cars weigh, basically borderline at 800 kilograms. And as per, I guess, FIA regulations, they have to reweigh the car with only a certain amount of fuel. So they reweigh the car, and it turns out down here, both of which came out underweight. 799 and 799 for both drivers, which means they are disqualified from the race. And as for Lewis Hamilton, his disqualification actually have to do with the skid block. With F1 cars, all the cars have a plank underneath the cars, and by FIA regulations, you're supposed to have a certain amount of thickness for the plank after the end of a race. But apparently, when they inspected Lewis Hamilton's car, they found out that the plank did not meet the required thickness, and in return, Lewis Hamilton handed another disqualification. And this wasn't even the first time that Lewis Hamilton got disqualified for this reason. As recent as 2023 in the US Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton was disqualified, and so was Charles Leclerc after it was found that both of their planks underneath their cars did not meet the required amount of thickness. So I don't know if this is just a byproduct of tracks being too bumpy, and I don't know if the FIA's rules regarding inspection has changed since 2023. Like, I'm assuming if 3 cars got disqualified in China, then I'm assuming things have changed, because back in 2023, the FIA would only inspect exactly 2 cars, and by coincidence in 2023 it was Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, and they had to pay the hard way. Luckily, in 2024, Lewis Hamilton kind of got his revenge when George Russell, his teammate, back then got disqualified for the Belgian Grand Prix, and that ended up giving the win to Lewis Hamilton. But, yeah, just a lot of drama coming out of the Chinese Grand Prix. A lot of injuries coming out of the NBA. Will be interesting to see how Ferrari handles their disqualifications, especially considering how their car isn't really meeting any expectations this year. I hope they are able to make their car more competitive. It would make for a much more exciting championship, considering McLaren looks set to run away with things. So, thank you all for watching. If you want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. It'll mean a lot to the channel, and I'll see you all another time.